Hello, Blitz fans of all ages. It's me, Plumcastle, here going over everything that we now know about the big boss mode that is coming out very soon. Now, there's a lot to unpack, so let's not waste any time in jumping right in. So, these first few paragraphs I'm not really going to do much with because those are more just adding a story and lore to the mode. You can read it if you want. It's kind of just typical mutating tanks. I don't know. Didn't really pay much attention. But it will be starting on February 3rd and then be going to February 6th, and then it will start up again later in February 10th and then go to February 13th. So those are the dates in case you're wondering. So let's actually talk about the mode itself. So like normal, you get two teams. However, each team will be made up of tanks that have special abilities, and one person or one player on each team will randomly be selected to be the boss, i.e. the most OP player on the game. I'll show the boss's statistics or abilities later, but just to you get a general idea of how this works is you get one boss on each team, and the other 6 players on each team will also get one of, I think it's like 4 abilities or something like that, which I'll also go over. And you have unlimited lives. So if, for example, in Uprising you have 3 lives, you have unlimited lives now, except the game will end at some point, obviously, and I think it's you have to get 30 points. So for each team, whenever you kill a normal or non-boss character, that's worth 1 point. If you kill a boss, that's worth 5 points. Now, the boss, it does have a lot of hit points and all those kinds of things, except the one caveat is that you can only revive once or twice, or you have a limited number of revives, whereas everyone else on your team has unlimited. So let's actually start to break down these statistics, and there are 5 abilities, one of them being the boss. So let me also explain there are 2 kinds of ability. One's an active ability. You have to actually hit a button. In my case, it's the space bar, or on mobile, you have to hit that little icon that looks like a consumable. So that would be your active ability, and you also have a passive ability, and that's something that's just always on, or if it has a cooldown, it will automatically reactivate every time it cools down. So something that's basically always going. You don't even have to think about it. So the boss is going to be the most powerful, and let's just read the little thing under here. The most powerful of the tanks or abilities that you can get, it turns you into an alpha predator. They say it quadruples your hit points, which to those who don't know, that's 4 times your hit points. So a mouse that has about 3,000 hit points, that's 12,000 hit points. Needless to say, that is absolutely OP. So after that, it'll also reduce your reload time by half. So whatever your reload time would normally be, it's half of that. And then also it increases your engine power, your top speed, and your damage by a third. So a third extra damage, third extra top speed, and third extra engine power. Really good stuff there. And it also gets special abilities, which I will now talk about. The first one, and you can even see the GIF here, is called the Blast Wave, and it'll blast enemies and deal damage to them. So the area of effect is 50 meters, which is actually quite a big area, and also it'll damage the enemy 10% of whatever the boss's current HP is. So, of course, if say you were full health mouse as an example, you'd have 12,000 hit points. It'd be 10% of that. I think that's 120 hit points if I'm not mistaken. Sorry, I think it's more like 1,200. Not sure, I should have done the math earlier, but the cooldown on that is 30 seconds, and that is definitely going to be a good way just to kind of push off those people that are trying to get a little bit too close. Now, you also get this ability called Mega Shot, and this is your passive ability, so this is the one that will be active all the time. It does have a 40-second cooldown, but once it cools down, it'll become effective. So every 40 seconds, a boss's shot is automatically charged with, I don't know, it says something in gibberish, but basically it'll add a little bit to your damage. In this case, it'll add a 30% extra hit point. So on top of the damage per minute buff or the alpha buff, you are also going to get this buff, which as far as I can tell, these buffs actually add on to each other. So there's the theoretical potential to get 60% added to your alpha damage, which is quite a lot. So that is the boss, and probably the most OP option you can get. For those that are less lucky, i.e. the people that aren't that 1 in a 7 chance, you will get one of the following abilities. Now, also, for if you're not a boss, depending on how well you do, I think it has to do with like kills and damage and stuff, you will actually get the ability to kind of level up and actually get better equipment, or at least upgrade your equipment, sort of. It's kind of hard to follow. I'll have to wait a little bit longer to actually play this to get a better feel for it. But let's dive right in here. So you have this ability, and you can be a Graviton, and your active ability, the one that you have to activate, is the Gravitrap. It honestly doesn't look that stellar, but when you shoot it or shoot on the ground, as you can see in this little GIF here, it'll kind of pull the tanks in, and its area of effect and cooldown are affected by how leveled up you are. And so you can get, I think there's like 5 levels. So if you're at level 1, the area of effect will be 60 meters. And then you can all level up to level 5 and then get 60 meters of suckage, I guess. I don't know really how I'd say that, but it'll pull in from a wider radius. Now, of course, the more upgraded you are, the less of a cooldown, from 40 all the way down to 30 seconds. So definitely try to be leveling up. I'll have to see how well that works, or like how that works. I think you might just have to get a lot of damage or kills or something. We'll have to see. But then your passive ability is Kinetic Shield. So the Kinetic Shield is kind of a protective area around you, I guess, and it'll actually decrease damage from shells, which of course varies depending on how leveled up you are, but it can be anywhere from 10 to 30% decreased. So anyone shooting you is going to have decreased damage on you. So that's nice. It makes you decrease slower. Now we've got the Regenerator. Now, I probably don't need to talk a whole lot about this one, because just like with Mad Games, or even some aspects of Burning Games or Mad Games, you have the ability to heal your teammates. Now in this case, you will have 2 passive abilities and 1 active ability. So let's actually talk about these, because these are kind of interesting. So Restoration Zone allows all nearby allies to gradually restore their HP. So you activate this, and your allies within a 50-meter radius will actually start healing. I don't know how long the effect lasts for, but anytime healing is great. Cooldown, of course, decreases when you are more leveled up. Now, your area of effect, as far as I can tell, stays the same. Now, let's talk about those 2 passive abilities. The first passive ability is Healing Shot, and this, I believe, just stays active all the time. And when you, just like in Burning Games, shoot your teammate, it'll actually give them a little bit of health. Now we've got the second passive ability, which you can kind of see the GIF for here. And so for every 40, 35, or 30 seconds, depending on how leveled up you are again, you can actually shoot friendly. And as far as I can tell, it'll actually absorb some of the damage from their next shot. So just like we saw with the, I forget what it was called, the Graviton, where you can get less damage dealt to you, this one will actually allow you to shoot a friendly and basically cause the same effect to come on them, as far as I know. It's still a little bit weird. There's a lot that I had to read here, but then that's basically what it is for the Regenerator. I have a feeling Regenerator is going to be one of the more OP options to get, just my personal opinion, but let's see as we continue on. So there's the Bomber. This one actually looked to be one of the least interesting, but not boring by any means. It's just the least OP, I guess you would say. So there's this, your active ability is this Big Bang. You can see the GIF for it here. And the Big Bang will allow you to blow up within a certain radius. And again, it's a 50-meter radius, which is pretty decent. And you damage 20 to 50% of your current HP, depending on what level you are. So full health mouse, if you get this, so 3,000, you get up to 50%, so you could deal about 1,500 damage in a 50-meter radius to enemies if you activate that blow up, whatever. And of course, your cooldown decreases as you level up as well. Your passive ability is a kind of tech amplifier, so this will amplify some aspect of your tank. In this case, for the Bomber, it's the tech amplifier will boost the tank's speed and mobility. So again, if you're a mouse, extra speed and mobility. Honestly, any tank with extra speed and mobility is really good. I actually think that this bomb will either be good for really, really high hit point tanks, or really fast ones that can get around and kind of just slap a few people. And of course, the bonus speed and engine power will be better the higher of a level up you get. So now we've got the Catalyst, which I think is the last one here. So yeah, there's the Catalyst. And this one seems maybe slightly more interesting. You get a poison shot. So for every 10, 15, or 20 seconds, again, depending on your level, you will be able to shoot someone and it'll poison them. of course, cooldown decreases the higher up you get. So as far as I can tell, just to clarify any questions that may be here, when you shoot a tank, for the next 10, 15, or 20 seconds, you may have to target them. This is your active ability. But for the next 10, 15, or 20 seconds, it'll slowly start to bleed out the enemy. And of course, the more leveled up the better you're going to be able to perform with this. Next is another tech amplifier, and this is your passive ability. And this tech amplifier will actually amplify a different thing about your tank. And in this case, it increases the damage while reducing aiming time and reload time. So similar, like almost like a baby boss in this case, where you kind of get those nice buffs. This damage will be increased by 15 to 35% depending on your level. The bonus reload time, so you will get 5 up to a 25% decrease on your reload time. Bonus aiming time, so as far as I can read, 1.5 to 2 times better aiming time the higher your level is. So there you go. Hope y'all really were able to gather a lot from this. It took quite a while to read, as you might be able to imagine, but there's just a ton here. I think this is going to be one of the more complex modes. I'm really excited to see what it is, and of course I do hope, provided everything goes well, that I'll actually make a video for that. But anyway, hope you all enjoyed, and as always, have fun, good luck, and happy tanking.